Come in.
Hey, Cindy.
Yep.
Got some questions about the logistics campaign we're working on.
Okay.
You up for a beverage, a coffee, or a soda or something? We can talk about it?
You know what? This thing's empty. I could use a refill. Let's go.
Sounds good. Meet you up front.
Yep. I can drive.
Cindy!
Let's go.
Where's
Thirsty.
the BMW?
You know, I had to give it up.
Really?
Yeah.
This thing's pretty fancy.
Thank you.
It's got a blue emblem on the front of it.
Yep.
What's all that about?
It's environmentally sound. It's a hybrid.
This is a bit of a departure from a BMW, Cindy.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, it sure is.
To be used to driving a BMW, and then you have this modern, technology-rich, sort of four-door luxury sedan that's just loaded with all kinds of cool stuff that an older BMW would not have had. Why that decision making?
Well, I think you nailed it right there. I wanted all the bells and whistles that new technology could provide me. It's got it all. It's got the built-in navigation system. So, you know, as a logistics professional, it's not good when I get lost. So I try to minimize those events.
Okay.
Yeah.
With all the latest and greatest technologies and these new capabilities out there, people oftentimes have to make a leap out of their comfort zone sometimes to embrace what's new on the market, correct?
That's right, absolutely. And you know, things are always changing. So, you know, when is the right time to make that leap? Yeah, I think that's a tough decision.
So what do you like best about this car?
Well, I do certainly feel good about driving it because it is a hybrid.
You know, you do touch on what I think is an interesting characteristic as to why people make a buying decision. And at the end of the day, there was this emotional, feel-good aspect about why you chose this car, correct?
Yeah. If you think about what causes people stress in their lives and in their jobs, I think to me it would be, and it often is, just frustration from things that you think should be so simple end up being quite complex.
So in logistics, when we talk about execution, we're fundamental to that, aren't we?
Absolutely. Well, let's just talk about with regard to shipment visibility. So understanding what's going on with your shipments, you know, being able to automatically or be alerted when something occurs, a contingency occurs, being able to perhaps proactively choose other ways to execute a shipment when you've identified that there's a contingency that's occurred. So the business value for that can be quite strong, especially if you're looking at global shipments, because global shipments go through so many gateways, so many transshipment points, are so long. So it really becomes a working capital play at some point, because you've got all that inventory that's in transit, and if you can see where it is and make decisions about replenishment or about other logistics execution to accommodate the contingencies that are occurring, then you can really, you know, use that to change your inventory management practices and start to reduce the amount of inventory you have to keep on hand as safety stock.
Which of our customers using those solutions are realizing that heavy working capital reduction benefit? Do we have some good examples of that we see today?
We have a couple of very strong examples. One on the inbound case, so they're using our visibility tools to track ocean shipments from raw material suppliers into their manufacturing plants, and they've actually been able to remove 10 days of inventory from that supply chain, which we're talking millions of dollars on the balance sheet, and probably, you know, a sizable amount in terms of inventory carrying costs on the P&L. So very significant there. On the outbound case, you know, what's been very interesting to see is, again, that getting that actual delivery information, and for those, especially in the case where you've got partners who are delivering your shipments for you, so from external warehouses, for example. So by providing visibility to that, and especially automating it, customers have been able to reduce their DSO quite significantly, or even reduce their inventory by by being able to automatically post goods issue the inventory that was delivered from their third-party warehouses. So they've cut a few days of inventory out just by automating the PGI process.
So there's a broader commerce ecosystem that I think I hear you describing. Is that a fair statement?
That is a fair statement. And you hear it called Internet of Things too, because you can start to see, over time and as this concept matures, that, we're not just going to be limited to carriers on board computers. We could be using GPS items that are mounted on traffic lights, for all we know, or other types of information.
Another thing related to that comes to mind is all the hype around big data.
But one thing I want to point out is that when people say big data, sometimes they just mean a whole bunch of data, and there's plenty of that too out there. So it is there's a lot of value that could be taken from a whole bunch of structured data that's out there that's not, technically by some definition big data, just big quantities of structured data. So example like that would be information about ship arrivals at ports, measures of port congestion, measures of other at other gateways within the supply chain, information that's going on there.
And look, your favorite soda
Dun, dun,
place in all of Greater Atlanta. As logistics product manager, I know you're working closely with our technology group. Can you share some insight into the roadmap a bit?
Basically, being able to take all the great data that we have in the solution now and customize how it looks in terms of with dashboards and various graphs. Imagine, joining or going onto the portal in the morning and seeing a pie chart that shows all the shipments that still are in open status, and being able to click directly from there and going to that list of shipments so that you can know exactly what you need to process, or exactly what you need to intervene on as quickly as possible. So that's one thing that's very, very exciting. And the other is the work we're doing on mobile applications. So looking at how we can create a mobile application that will be able to show the status of shipments. So it's very interesting because we're looking at, what's the right way to create a user interface on that small screen that's going to provide the information as quickly as possible for the user to be able to identify where in the process their shipments are currently and to be able to answer questions for their customers if they get calls about where's my stuff. So be able to quickly do that.
Well, I can really appreciate the flexibility and freedom that those mobile applications provide. You unchain yourself from that traditional desktop.
There are functions now that occur within our shippers' plant operations that require that loading operators go into a room, into a building to interact with a desktop. So, being able to use a tablet device, even if it is one of those industrial strength tablet devices that's available right at the door or right outside, could really improve the productivity of those team and allow them to interact with something very simple and get right to the heart of the matter in terms of what data they need to provide or to see. There is significant value to being able to have real-time visibility to your shipments that Elemica can Elemica has the solutions right now to be able to untap that value, and we can execute on those. And additionally, Elemica has the vision to be able to grow with your needs and to bring new solutions that you maybe haven't even considered yet with regard to some of the new technologies and mobile. So we're really the best partner for you if you're in the process industry to start down that path to create the value or untap the value of your supply chain.
Well, thanks for going on a beverage run with me, Cindi.
Yeah, it was fun.
I learned a lot. Thanks for your help. And
No problem.
we'll get together and get that campaign going.
Sounds great. See ya.